Governor, we're here at the Reagan premiere of the Reagan movie. I was just kind of curious, how did Reagan change your politics in Wisconsin?
Well, for me personally, I grew up just about an hour north of here in a small little town, not unlike Dixon, where we stand today. And I grew up during Ronald Reagan's tenure. I was 12 when he was first elected that year in 1980. By the time he was done in his second term, I was just barely into college. And he made me, probably more than anybody other than my parents, the person I am today politically, not just as a conservative or even a Republican, but as an optimist. He had this eternal belief in the American people. It rubbed off on me. That in turn rubbed off on the things I did all throughout my career in public service, and probably most specifically when I was governor. We knew he was not afraid to take on big challenges, whether it was taking on the air traffic controllers when they went against federal law, whether it was taking on communism in the Soviet Union, or any number of other things along the way. And that certainly inspired me and a whole generation like me to be positive and optimistic about the country. At the same time, we were willing to do what was right and take some big risks to make it happen.
Well, I'm certainly right there with you. Reagan was the first president I was able to vote for. So, but you know, I'm also from this state here in Illinois, and I hate to say it, but Reaganism never touched this state at the time. Every politician here, even the Republicans, were old, hidebound, establishment types. How do you see that changing over the years since Reagan, as far as the old, country club Republicans? Do you think that's a dying or even a dead breed?
Well, I think right now what we've seen in the last few years, particularly with President Trump, is something that started with Reagan. We used to call it Reagan Democrats. Actually, it's a term that was first used in my turf in Serb Hall outside of South Side Milwaukee, where a whole bunch of what we used to call Reagan Democrats, South Side, working class, typically union members, but who had strong conservative beliefs. They were strong in family. They were typically pro-life. They were pro-gun. They wanted people to have to work hard for those who were able. Those people over the years have transferred over into being not Republicans as much as conservatives. We saw it certainly in my race for governor 3 times in the state of Wisconsin. It took people like that voting for me, as it did when Donald Trump successfully carried the state back in 2016. It was that same brand of Reagan Democrats. Now, not every Republican is like that. They don't have that populist feel, but based on strong conservative principles. But I think that's something that continues to grow even as we speak. Movie spectacular. I've seen it in advance of this. Obviously, Hollywood's not going to give any deference to a movie like Reagan, but I think Dennis Quaid and Penelope Ann Williams in particular, or Penelope Ann Miller, I should say, have done a fabulous job. So Dennis Quaid, Penelope Ann Miller, fabulous portrayal of our president, former First Lady. I think people all across America should not only go, but they should take friends and families to go see this remarkable movie. It's also got people like John Voight in there as a retired KGB agent. You're really going to be impressed and reminded about why America, rightfully so, loved Ronald Reagan.